Hello and welcome back to the Aapna Reds Podcast, the podcast that brings you everything you'd expect from a normal podcast, but with an added little bit of chutney on top, which only we can provide. And it's been an interesting few weeks for Liverpool. We've seen the rise of them, and we've sadly seen the fall of them as well. And to talk about everything that's been on quite recently is the main man himself, Mr. Anil. How you doing, Anil? How's things? And first of all, how are you feeling, Shearer?
All right, man. All right. All good. It's been a while, isn't it? It feels like we haven't done this for a while, but back on it. I suppose what a time to come back after the last couple of weeks we've had.
Yeah.
I suppose there's a lot to talk about. Do get that, Tiga?
Just about. I think we've got to open it up and say that it feels like we're like at enough source that we're at a funeral or something with the news of Jurgen Klopp leaving. I think these next few podcasts going up to the end of the season are going to be it's going to be half and half of doing Gidda and celebrating Liverpool winning, but also the ducky of knowing that Klopp's leaving at some point.
Oh, it's the divorce in the Klopp mama. He's getting a divorce from the club and leaving us behind. What's going? Well, let's get into it, man.
Let's get into it. So, shall we talk
okay,
first?
Man. Yeah,
let's talk about the game yesterday. Go on.
Oh, go on then. We'll do the game yesterday because it's raw.
It's in the moment. It's upsetting us. Go on then. So, what did you make of the game? Obviously, away at Arsenal. We've mentioned Arsenal are sort of competitors this season. We've seen them sort of pros and problems for us before. Giving problems to City as well. But did you expect them to cause us that much damage in the end?
You know what? It shouldn't really be a shock, should it? The last couple of games we've played them, they have outplayed us. Like first half, definitely. I mean, yes, we didn't even get a shot on target. The fact that we got a goal was just a miracle. We didn't have one shot on target. That is ridiculous. This is Liverpool, the team that apparently battering everyone. So it's not a massive shock. And to be fair, I think the score flatters them a little bit because the goals that we conceded weren't amazing Arsenal attack. There were more Liverpool's mistakes. But best team won without a doubt. They were a better team. Even Klopp acknowledged that they were much better. They created more chances. They were more on the front foot. Our midfield just didn't come up to show up. They didn't show up to the game, did they? It was literally as men against boys. So well deserved. Bit of a kick up the arse. Maybe a kick up the arse that we needed.
Yeah,
I think we were getting a bit too comfortable, and we were getting away with games where we weren't playing the best, but we were grinding out some results. Yeah. So maybe it was a kick up the arse we needed at the right time. And if you're going to lose to a team, Arsenal away, it's not the worst result. You know what I mean? It can happen. It can happen to any team. But that being said, if you want to put a title charge on and you want to win the Premiership, then maybe these are the games you shouldn't lose. Maybe not win, but go there and grind out a draw. So it has dented the charge a little bit. It's kind of brought us back to reality. You watch again. What do you think of it?
I think the exact same. It's just poor. I think what made it worse is we blew Chelsea away a few days before. Obviously, a game where the exact same thing. There were a few decisions that if they went the other way, we would have been in trouble. Nunes has the craziest game of his life. Nunes looked like he'd been having his Dwight and he was absolutely off at that game. But it's one of those things where either we're too good and creating too much to then go in and not being able to create anything is just like, it's weird. And I think it shows how important certain players are to that system.
Do you think he should have started Nunes?
I don't think he should have started. I think the attack that he went for, obviously we mentioned it many times, Nunes off the bench, he's crazy. But I think what didn't help is obviously the midfield injuries. Taking off Trent, arguably, it might have been an issue for him. Obviously, the sad sort of news with Conor Bradley, who's been absolutely flying, the past few weeks. But to be taken off Trent when, we needed a goal, we needed a game to win, unless he was injured or managing his minutes, you don't really want that.
I was going to say, I can't imagine him taking him off for lack of. I know he mentioned it in his press conference, and he said he was doing it because he's not ready for a full game or he's not ready for a full 90 minutes, which makes sense. It was just a weird one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There's a lot of hype going into the game. You kind of expect it to be a 50-50 brilliant title challenges coming against each other, but it was a bit flat.
Yeah.
I mean, it did look like, and it's like I said, it's understandable. News with Conor Bradley and obviously what happened with his old man. You can kind of, I suppose, put some of the feeling towards that, and you can say, all right, maybe the team are feeling down. You could put it down to some of the players coming back weren't fully fit. Obviously, Trent being one, Szoboszlai was missing, Salah was missing, Robbo's not 100% at the moment, so he didn't start. But you expect the big boys to not cock up. Van Dijk was just unbelievably bad. A bit too cocky. I think it was too cocky.
Yeah.
Like all the decisions, he was like, nah, don't worry. I won't head it away. I'll let it come down. I'll shield him away. And then Alisson as well, rushing out. Don't worry, I got this. Don't worry, I got this. And then just doesn't kick the ball. That second goal, second half, just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It shouldn't really happen, should it? But you give him a game off. You give him a game off. That's not going to happen in week. If that happens week in, week out, then you like get him out.
Yeah.
But I think that was a freak performance from Van Dijk. And I think he came out. I think he felt like he had to come out, didn't he? And he went and apologized and said, "Look, man, it ain't going to happen again." But it was, you know what? It's not nice. Luckily, the Arsenal fans aren't as bad as United fans. I'm getting more grief from fans than I am Arsenal fans, so which is always a weird one.
I think the two players that have really been sort of picked out of the game as not being as good as they could have been is the two, or really the Dutch lot. Gakpo got picked on, same with Gravenberch as well. But how much of that do you think is them as individuals? Because we've seen them play out of their skin this season. Gravenberch was incredible when it came to some of the games in this midfield season. But how much do you think that is because they haven't really had that much game time? If you think about it, they haven't had many starts recently. We've had a few injuries in there, but also that team's been pretty set for the past few weeks in terms of who's played, the lineup, and sort of how they've worked well together. So thrusting him into a game like that, surely he's not going to end well, and it didn't. I think in the end.
Well, this is why the selection shocked me a little bit. Again, I know we said Nunes picked up a slight little knock, so he didn't want to start him, but it's like boxing, isn't it? You put in your best. You put in your best puncher. Just keep punching away. He might not get the knockout punch, but he'll hold them back to the point where they're like, "Oh, look, we need to calm down because this kid doesn't stop." So I always think you start with Nunes, get the defense just tired and not able to really think about what they want to do, which is play their game, and then you hit them on the counter.
Yeah,
I genuinely thought that's what we were going to do, and Nunes has got to that point now where fair enough, we don't rely on his goals. But we rely on him keeping their defenders on their toes by just being an absolute nuisance. What was it Captain Chaos? Like literally,
Captain Chaos, definitely.
He's non-inclusion of the squad was a bit of a shock to me. Gakpo, he's a funny one, isn't he? If he plays well, we look at him and like, here we go, he's back. But then he goes a few games not scoring and. He's missed a Carabao Cup, isn't he? He performs really well in the Carabao Cup. And Gravenberch has always fizzled out a little bit. But again, how much of that is Klopp trying to get him to play a system rather than playing to his strengths?
Yeah.
Where his strengths, I think Curtis Jones is playing more like I expected Gravenberch to play. You know what I mean? Driving runs and controlling midfield. So I don't know. Could just be long January as well. I mean, we're not taking that into account. How many games did we play, and how many, games that were so important did we play? There's just so many factors. I mean, we give him a day off, man. Yesterday was a day off.
We'll let him off then. We won't give him too many jabbeers or anything like that. But I tell you who does deserve a jabbeer, and that is the referee, because some of the decisions were terrible. I think. On both sides of the ball, decisions were absolutely awful.
Yeah,
obviously Klopp's come out, complained, but what is going on with referees?
Even his complaint was a bit half-assed. Like, look,
we
all know what went wrong. We all know what should have happened, but we didn't get the result. So simple as. I mean, there are some of the challenges. What I think Saliba did were very similar to Kanate. When he didn't get a card. Some of the challenges. Who's the other centre half they got? Gabriel, he pulled down what's it called, didn't he?
Nunes,
yeah. I mean, it's one of them ones you can't argue. I mean, we already know At least now, I know this sounds weird, but at least now we've lost a game that we deserve to lose. Whereas if we went the whole season and that Tottenham game was the only game that we lost,
Yeah.
how screwed would we have been
Yeah.
that game stopped us from being like an invincible team, I suppose.
It
But at
must be
least
North London teams we struggle against at this
we do,
point.
man. We do. This is what I mean. When they come to Anfield, I hope we give them we give Tottenham a bit of a kick up the arse because Arsenal, they've got our number. To be fair,
Yeah.
they're the only team that when we play, look comfortable playing
Yeah.
us. Yeah, it's the only game I always watch thinking, oh, we don't look great. So they've got our number somehow.
Well, we're going to have to find a way around it because we need to be winning this league title at
This
this
is the
point.
thing, man. And their celebrations piss me off as well. You don't have to go that far, you know what I mean? You don't go that far with your celebrations. It's been a few weeks of celebrations, isn't it? Wasn't it? Was it Brentford against Tottenham
Yeah.
when they were doing the dart celebrations? Piss
I
taking.
don't think everyone's winding each other up at
I
this
know,
point.
yeah. I was just thinking that, but flipping out. How did Arteta not get booked for his celebration? He ran half the flipping length of the pitch.
He must know someone at the FA. That must be helping him out at this point.
No, man, joke. But yeah, man. You know, so in summary, we deserve to lose. We didn't show up. It weren't the Liverpool that we know we can be. But you give him a day off, innit? You give him a day
We'll
off.
give him a day off, but do we think we need to give him much better than this week? I
Oh,
think it
100%.
might have to be a line-up, sit down, and just put your hands straight through all of them at this point, don't you think?
Is your boy, your defender, he's getting a chipper from me today, man. I'm telling you. Without a doubt, he had a hand in every single goal.
Yeah.
Van Dijk, he needs a chipper more to wake him up rather than
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You're the captain of the club. How's the captain of the club being involved in 3 of the goals of the opposition?
Yeah.
So, without a doubt, man. Van Dijk.
Having a tough old time. I might have to give Alisson a little chip as well because
No, man.
you're bunga for no reason, man.
True. He was like a little brother in it, coming to the fight when the older brother was in a fight, and the little brother just coming along and trying to get a punch in, but completely missing. He's one of them ones. But yeah, I mean, you always got to remember Alisson always puts in a shift. There's a few shots that he saved. It could have been a lot worse. So he's done his job. But Van Dijk, come on, man, keep it simple. I tell you what, though, I wasn't very comfortable with our play out from the back yesterday.
No, but I think that's the Arsenal press against us, though. 100% the Arsenal press.
I mean, we got out on the majority of the occasions, but it wasn't very. It didn't look very classic Liverpool.
I don't think the midfield helped whatsoever. Did not help whatsoever, that midfield.
Well, yeah, McAllister, man, he's 50-50 for me.
He's going to be getting a chip off me as well.
Yeah, I was going to say he weren't all that. Gravenberch, obviously, I think the occasion got to him.
Yeah.
Do we move Trent into midfield now and have Conor Bradley on the right? Because I felt like Trent was a bit weak on the right as well.
I think that might be the new thing. And I think if Bradley was playing, or, I think that probably would have been the thing that Trent came on into midfield.
He mentioned it, didn't he? Yeah, Klopp mentioned it. It was a right triangle. Didn't work very well.
No.
You tried something new. It didn't work. But you can... With Gakpo, when he played with Conor Bradley, it looked quite good. And when Harvey Elliott was interchanging with Conor Bradley, it looked quite well. Yeah. So, if anything, the missing piece to the puzzle yesterday was Conor Bradley. And considering he's only been in there a few games and he's become one of those players that we're missing, that just shows how good he's been, man.
Yeah. But I think Conor Bradley pushed up a lot more than Trent normally does because Trent likes to sit a bit deeper, play the balls from there. But Conor Bradley was running straight into the box and coming straight back.
Conor Bradley was Trent of the old, wasn't he?
Yeah.
The old, the one who could actually defend, the one who could, come back and recover, go down the line, put a cross in, get involved in goals. He's like a carbon copy of Trent, just a few years later. Crazy. Been lucky.
Academy product.
I know.
Do you reckon anyone's going to get taken for a mixed grill after yesterday's performance, or do you reckon we're going to have to leave Mixie man of the match for the first time this season?
I don't think anyone deserves one after yesterday's game.
No, I don't think so either.
I can't.
I think the only person who might have to take to cheer him up might have to be Conor Bradley. Obviously, didn't play, but I think when he's
taking the player that wasn't playing for a mixed grill, that's going to be a first.
Yeah, I think it definitely is a first at this point.
Yeah, and I genuinely can't think of anyone who came on or who was in the starting lineup that had a.
Maybe we take Thiago because he's coming back into the
Yeah, but
starting.
did you see the mistake he made? Like literally, he passed it to one of their strikers or one of their, false nines, whatever you want to call them. Like
At least he's
literally,
back. At least he's
his
back.
training video got me so excited. I was like, oh my God, look at the touch, look at the pass, look at the goals he's scoring. He's always got that look on his face like he's so serious.
Yeah.
And then he comes on the pitch and just passes it to their player. They're great. This is what we've been waiting nearly 12 months for.
Oh, well.
I'll be honest, I'm not a big Thiago fan. I know he's class. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. He's class. But in our team, I think he's overrated.
Terrible shout. Absolutely terrible shout.
The one game that they always point out where he controlled the game, I think it was against Man United. Or was it away at Old Trafford? Or was it at home? I can't remember.
Home, I think.
You look back at it and he's literally just passing the ball 5-10 yards to players and getting it back, passing it, getting it back, getting it back. He made one or two. Overrated for me, man. For Liverpool, anyway. I mean, I'm not saying his career is overrated, but I think we expect too much from him, and I don't think he delivers.
Well, he's probably not got that long left at Liverpool with his contract running down in the summer. And we'll move on to someone that hasn't got much longer left as well, which is Mr. Jurgen Klopp, Mama. Now, we haven't been able to chat about it on here, but I think it's time to get it all out, get all the ducky out. Might have to put the Kuldeep Marnik songs on or something like that because it's not looking good. It's been an amazing time to have Klopp, Mama with us, but it really it feels like, when like you have issues with Jameen and stuff like that, and all of a sudden, you can't talk to your mama because like he's taken half your Jameen, so your family just falls apart, sort of thing.
But
like,
he's taking the full squad with him, isn't he?
I know you got the love for him, but you can't because he's going.
I think there's so many things to talk about in this. I think we're going to be here for a while. Let's get started. Go on then. Where were you when you heard the news?
I was at work amongst Man United fans, and I could not believe when I thought it was a joke. I still think it's a joke. And I ignored it, ignored everything that was going on. But when I went home, I couldn't believe it. I was in tears. After everything we'd been through, after hearing, all the positive things at the start of the season, seeing him extend his contract, seeing everyone so happy, I didn't get it. I really didn't get it. What about yourself?
Yeah, man. Mine was I saw a post on Instagram on like the feed page where you just see random. I looked at it. It said breaking news: Klopp leaving, and I thought, this is just a joke, isn't it? But then obviously one of the kids who's like a Man United fan knocking on the door. Have you heard the news? Have you heard the news? I was like, oh God, it's true. And then I went onto my phone and I seen his interview on YouTube and I listened to the whole interview. And like you said, there was just that sinking feeling.
Yeah. That
sinking feeling that literally just made it feel like, I don't know, like you said, someone died. It was like, I know that's a bit dramatic, but that's how it felt. That's genuinely how it felt. And I'm thinking back to it now. I'm getting a ducky now, thinking about it. It's kind of settled in, but it hasn't settled in.
Yeah. It just doesn't feel real to me. It just does not feel real whatsoever.
What do you think is the reasoning?
I mean, we talked about this a little bit off the podcast, but I honestly think that this sort of introduction of, this behind the scenes documentary, he's mentioned it so many times before. He's been so anti to it. In our own sort of in-house productions, we never get to see anything in the changing rooms, and that's for our own sort of media. So why would he let someone external come along and make a documentary out of it? And then for it to be all too convenient that he's decided, no, I'm done. And I think what convinced me yesterday was him saying, I don't want to go, but I have to go, in a sort of interview that he had with Rio Ferdinand.
Yeah,
and I just think, why do you have to go? Because we've seen this season how happy he's been. Obviously, we know it takes a toll on you. Don't be wrong. Like, we've lost one legitimate game, I'd argue, this season. Call it two. But now everyone's saying that the title race has been lost. So if you think about it, having to be at the head of that must take a massive toll on you, as a human being. But if anyone can sort of deal with it, and if anyone has dealt with it for so long, it's Jurgen Klopp. I just think Summit just doesn't seem to be had enough at the top in my eyes.
I hope it's not that. documentary thing, because that would be just so ridiculous that we're actually losing one of the best Premiership managers, one of the best managers in Liverpool's history over a documentary. That seems a bit ridiculous to me, if I'm honest. I hope that's not the case. And if it is, such a bad decision in regards
I
to
think
the
if it
management.
ever came out that that was the case, everyone would be rioting.
They'd want
Rioting.
the owners to leave
Yeah.
if that was a reason, and I don't think it is. I genuinely think he's got enough control to say, "Listen, I don't want to do a documentary. Don't do it." Like, what possibly could they gain from having a documentary? I don't think that's a reason, but I'm just saying let's entertain the fact that it might be. What can they gain other than a few million quid? But you're
But
losing
it's
one of
all
the best
money.
managers,
It's all
which
money to these. As we,
that's
we've
all
seen
money.
there's
But
so many things.
you say that you lose your manager, and now they're going to be in a position where we drop form,
Yeah.
we drop, all sorts of fans, we drop all sorts of connections with brands. Klopp brings in a lot. I think he
Yeah.
brings in more than anybody else in terms of management. I think he does more for Liverpool in terms of their financial success than any other manager on the planet. You know what I mean? Like, Guardiola does it through results,
Yeah.
but I don't think he does it through personality. Klopp is on a different level.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of him being tired, I get that. I even said to my mates last year, when we was at this point last year, where we were out the title race, we weren't really going for top four, really. I know we were, but he never gave up, but we weren't really in it. Oh, I said at the time, let him have a break. Give him
Yeah.
time off. Let him go recharge. Give him half a season off. Let him come back just before pre-season. Pep Linders and the boys will just do what they can do until the end
Yeah.
of the season. Even if we finished mid-table, like bang on mid-table last season, I don't think anyone would have cared.
No.
It was an off season. Like, I genuinely wouldn't have cared. We were out of the title, we was out of the cups. It was just he was playing for what? Trying to get top four, which we didn't get in the end anyway.
Yeah.
So I gave up after half a season anyway. I would have been quite happy for him to go get a break, come back fully re-energized, have a few lines of coke in the summer or something. You know what I mean? Just go do what you got to do. Go have a party. Go take Ula. Go take a Hawaii somewhere. You know what I mean? Rekindle your romance and come back a new man.
Yeah.
But he held it out. He did a typical Klopp, didn't he? He went through the fire
Yeah.
and just carried on. And then he must have got to the end of that season and thought, "This, I can't do this anymore."
Yeah. And that's
And
when I
then
thought he would have gone. I honestly thought he would have gone at the end of last season.
Mm,
If he walked then, I
yeah,
think everyone would have said, okay. But I think inside of him, he wanted another run at it. And I think he didn't feel ready to go then with everything. He didn't want to leave on a low note. But I don't know. Part of me just feels the Klopp that we've known, he's doesn't want anything on himself, doesn't want the limelight on himself.
mm,
The man says, don't sing songs about me at football stadiums when
mm,
we're winning. He doesn't want anything to be about him. So why would he then say mid-season when Liverpool are on everyone's lips, the team's on everyone's lips, that he's then leaving? It just doesn't add up to me, knowing who he is, how he is, and then to be doing all this media and press and not giving a real reason. It just seems to not add up to me.
I
And
think
I
I
think it'll
think
come out.
I think genuinely, I think someone in the press must have got wind of it. He said he told the ownership in November.
Yeah.
So I think someone in the press must have got hold of him and said, "Listen, we're about to run a story tomorrow
Yeah.
that you're leaving. We've heard from this source that you're leaving."
Yeah.
And they must have got together and thought, "We got to get our side out before it gets
Mhm.
out." I think that's the reason he's come out and said it. In terms of timing wise, yeah, could have been done at a better time. Go on, let's discuss this then. Let's say he did it at the end of last season and said, I'm only having one more season." Let's say he did it in November when he decided, compared to now when he did do it, or after the last game of the season. What's the best
I,
time?
I think after the last game I think if he left after season, we would have been like, okay, fine, fair enough, we get that. He's done everything he can. The
Yeah.
fact that he stayed and we're at the position we are, and now he said, I'm going at the end of this season, obviously, yeah, it gives a bit of sort of push, but also I just again can't get over this fact that he does not like any attention on himself in terms of focus and things like that. So for him to be announcing it mid-season, it's just again, there's like you said, there's no ideal time to be doing it, and I think maybe we're seeing this pressure sort of creep in now. Yeah, there's motivation and everything. You want to win for your manager. It's his last sort of contributions to the club, but is it going to go over into over pressure, or players going to really push themselves to a point where it's not going to sort of materialize? But the thing that's worse for me is I always thought, and I've always said, I want Pep Linders to carry on after Klopp goes. I think he embodies Liverpool. He understands this team. He understands these players. I want him, and I want him only as the next manager.
And he knows
but the fact that he's not staying on, and Klopp saying he's ready for management and still not staying on, it just still doesn't sit right with me whatsoever.
He's going somewhere. I don't think he's got a job lined up. I can't see him being out of job for more than a year. I see him getting another job before Christmas, which is weird because he says no football for another year. I can't see that happening. Do you think there's some reports saying that the Germany job is his, and whenever he's ready?
I think he wouldn't want that now with such a short notice for the Euros. I think
it's less stressful in terms of day to day, though, isn't it?
Yeah, of
course. If he wants management, but he doesn't want it day to day, then that's perfect.
Yeah.
Can you imagine him with a German team?
I don't want to think about it. Restore the Germans to greatness, eh?
That'd be crazy. Like literally be all of his own people in his own language.
Yeah.
He's only there when
they're another team that have had a documentary on Amazon recently as well, the German national team.
Are they?
So yeah, they had one after the World Cup. So it's just, things just don't seem to be adding up with me the way I see it.
Man, I've never really been one to watch these football documentaries, and I haven't to this day. I've not watched one from start to end. But as a Liverpool fan, if there was a Liverpool one, I'd be glued to it. So it makes sense that you do it for the fans. But again, I don't think the club are that stupid to do it over Klopp. I genuinely think he's had enough, and he's knackered, and you can tell from the day he came in to now. Like look at the Bajara man.
Yeah, Bajara, yeah. At least he's got his teeth done though. He's got his Anacar fixed, so maybe he's not Bajara. Maybe he's
contact lenses and done, isn't it? What's your legacy at Liverpool? Contact lenses and done.
Sorted. Yeah.
That was a Firmino influence, isn't it? I think Firmino got everyone's done sorted.
Of course. Why he's doing this? He come up going, look, I know a guy, I can get it sorted for you.
Nah, I tell you what happened. Firmino went in and literally they were saying, listen, the more referrals you bring in, the more discount you get.
The less you have to pay.
Let's get everyone in.
So what do you think then going forward? We'll look towards the sort of Burnley game, because I know we're going to be talking about Klopp.
Go on. Before we move on to Burnley, we got to talk about potential replacements.
The thing is, we're going to be talking about potential replacements every single week now.
True. But come on, who's the top three at the moment?
I know there's one man who everybody wants.
We
don't need to talk about. We know Xabi
Alonso's number one at the moment, isn't he? At the moment,
but it's a lot of pressure on him. I'm still waiting for Pep Linders to say, you know what, I'll take the job. I'm still waiting for them to offer it to him, and he'd be the man that I'd want as number one for Liverpool. He's known. His
interview was interesting as well, and he came out and said, "Listen, we always said when Klopp leaves, we're going to leave." So that being said, if he's ready for management, why would he leave at the same time as Klopp? It doesn't make sense.
I don't understand exactly. Because there's something not adding up to me. But yeah, I know that people have banded about De Zerbi. Gerrard's obviously signed on a new contract, so I highly doubt it's going to be.
Gerrard's not ready. Gerrard's not ready. Alonso's a risk, but he's a front runner at the moment. De Zerbi. I wonder if managers of that team look better than they actually are.
Yeah.
Because their recruitment is so good. Mm-hmm. They bring in players that are just amazing. They've got that like American if they want to buy someone, they need to buy their recruitment
team. Get them all in. Yeah.
That's who they need to buy, not the man. Because wasn't it Potter before him?
Yeah.
And he had a similar effect as well. and then he went to Chelsea and completely fell apart. So I don't think De Zerbi deserves it.
No.
There you go. There's a little.
So that's the other thing that we've got is we are going to lose a lot of recruitment, a lot of back office staff. Obviously, Michael Edwards got asked to come back, and he said, "No, I don't want to come back." So there's a lot of space in that Liverpool team.
Everyone's going.
Everyone.
Literally everyone. So whoever comes in has got a clean slate, which is good because you don't want to be working with people who you're not familiar with.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's an interesting one. Apart from Alonso, who is there?
No, there's not.
Like,
people have
for
said,
you personally, not in the papers.
No,
for you
Zidane,
personally,
don't want Zidane.
I
think he's been out of it for so long, but he would not be interested in this. But this is the issue. There's no managers out there anymore that there's nothing that
Mourinho.
No
chance.
Can you imagine?
I would hate it if his name was even brought into it.
Forget that. No way. No chance.
Benitez.
You know what? I think Roy Hodgson's close to getting the sack. So if he wants to come back, I'm sure he can hold the reins.
No, I heard a link the other day of what's Aston Villa's manager called again?
Emery.
Everyone's saying they're trying to poach him. I tell you which one. The other link that I do like, but it ain't gonna happen. Ange Postecoglou.
No.
Nah, he's a Liverpool fan.
I love him, but no way.
I don't know, man. I think he'd bring a bit of.
I think he's perfect for Liverpool. Obviously, he's mentioned his affinity for Liverpool. Yeah. I think I'd have loved him at Liverpool. I think he would have really got
attacking sense as well. With our team that we've got, with such an attacking mindset, I think he'd be good.
Yeah,
him and Alonso. Those are my top two. If I was going to go for managers,
I don't want any.
I can't genuinely. Gerrard's not ready.
I just want Klopp to stay.
You know what? You have to do like a handcuff him to the stadium so he can't leave.
You have to do something.
Where's he going then? Come on, he's not staying out of management.
I think if there's anything he's waiting for, it's probably the Germany job. I can see him.
I personally think Barcelona.
Nah, no chance.
The only thing that's not right timing wise is Xavi's turned around and said, "I'm leaving."
Yeah, there's no way.
It's too
early.
If
he went to Barca, it'd be the greatest shock of the century. I could not see that. I don't
see him going there and saying it's too big of a job to turn down. I couldn't say no.
I would think I think he's genuine when he says he wants his time out. I think he'll have his time out. But
I don't think it'll take a year though. I don't think he'll have a year.
I think he wanted to go last season, but they persuaded him a little bit. Because I think if he was going to leave, then he would have gone to the Germany job and then had the time to really build them for sort of this Euros campaign. But now he can't just go in mid-season for the. How
about this? How about this? A new manager comes in, completely cocks it up for the first few months. Klopp's had a break. He sees what's going on. I'm thinking, no, I can't let this happen.
I'll take it. If he needs a break, Klopp, whenever you want to
come. If you need a relegation battle for a few months.
TK, whatever you want to do, just come back.
Just to bring him back. It might. Oh man, what are the odds on that?
Again, stranger things have happened in football, and stranger things have happened at Liverpool as well.
Because I can't imagine him moving out of Liverpool straight away. I know he always wanted to go back to Bayern, didn't he? Like at the end of his career.
Yeah.
I wonder if he stays in England, gets a few spa breaks with his wife, gets rejuvenated, and thinks, you know what, I missed this.
Yeah.
Let me come back.
Well, we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see.
If it happens, we said it here first.
Yeah, we said it here first. Charlie, then let's look forward. Let's see if we can get a bit more soccer going. And let's look at Liverpool's next fixture at home on a Saturday and not at 12:30 as well. Can you believe it? 3:00 against Burnley. Now, Burnley struggling this season. I think a team that people knew they wouldn't have an amazing season, but they played some good football, just haven't got the results when they're needed. But where do you see this going for Liverpool? They need to respond in this one. And how do you think they'd respond in this?
Burnley are a typical team, aren't they? That absolutely flew in the Championship, and then you just realise there's a step up when you come to the Premiership.
Yeah,
I'm hoping 3 factors really. Number 1, there's going to be a bounce back after the Arsenal defeat, and we're going to have to show that that was a blip.
Yeah.
2, Anfield, biggest capacity it's ever going to have been.
That's the one,
Are they opening up the whole stadium, or is it just?
I think they are opening up that new stand, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry, new stadium. New stand. That'd be good, isn't it? Turn up new stadium. Yeah, so that's the second factor. And the third factor is it's Burnley. It's Burnley, you know what I mean? Come on, man. If you're trying to put on a title charge and
Yeah,
Burnley cause you issues, then you don't deserve to be in a title charge.
yeah,
So those three things put into place, I'm expecting 3+ goals from Liverpool.
yeah.
Non Nunes back on it.
That's what we like to hear. Go hit us with
He's
your
gonna hit,
prediction
I think he's going to hit the woodwork 15 times
then.
and score one, which is going to be an off-target deflection from a defender.
Yeah, I hear that. I can completely see it happening as well. What's your score predictions then for that one if he's hitting the
Nah,
woodwork 15 times?
I can see a 3-0 or 4-0.
3-0. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't see them scoring at Anfield. I think Van Dijk's going to be overly hard on himself, and he's going to try
yeah.
and put in a performance that shows that it was just a mess up.
We might see
Yeah.
the original back line as well with Kanate out, Gomez back at centre half, and then Robbo back onto the
Is
left.
Konza injured?
No, I don't think so. I just don't
Is he
think.
just? Oh, okay. So he's
Yeah,
just. I don't know why he doesn't play more often. I could really, like I said, man, I like him. I like him as a defender. Him and Kanate give me more confidence as a centre back pairing than Van Dijk and Kanate. That's
no,
weird, isn't it? That's weird, isn't it? But
I can't.
genuine, that's how I feel. Van Dijk is not. I've said it many times on
The
the
thing
pod.
is, I think
I
he's
don't think
stepped up recently, but I think part of it now is just sort of the blip and sort of that recency. But they've been dominating for the past few weeks. I just think it's one of those things where he just didn't look himself yesterday. He was too
Oh, but you
casual.
know what?
I just got caught.
We say that. I think our defense has been getting away with it. You
Oh
look at
yeah,
that
100%.
FA Cup. That's what I mean.
100%.
I think we overrate him too much because he's our captain.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong, he has changed the fortunes of the club.
yeah.
But this is hard saying this. I don't think he makes a top 10 best ever centre back in the Premiership ever.
No, I think since his injury, he hasn't been the same player.
Nah. But he's still good.
Yeah,
He's still good and he's doing what he can. But some of his choices, he could be amazing if he just didn't care about trying to show that I'm big, strong,
yeah,
I can hold the ball off you, I can pass it. If he
mhm,
just did his job and whacked it out every time it came near him, he'd have like a clean sheet every single game.
yeah,
Like, he likes to like test himself. I think maybe he got bored. He's got bored of it being too easy for him. And he's like, you
yeah.
know what? Yeah,
Called a bit
here you go.
fungi instead.
One day, here you go. Here's the ball. Come on, let's play. I need to practice a little bit. I don't know, man. But yeah, 3-4-0. What do you reckon?
I think I'm going to go for a bit safer. I think it's going to be a 2-0. I think it's going to take us a while to get into it. But I think Liverpool are going to win 100%.
You're going 2-0.
2-0. I think they're going to play
Conservative, innit?
well. Yeah, I think they're going to play well. I think the crowd's going to be with them. But I think Burnley, unless you score really early on and then they're chasing the game, I think they can be a bit difficult for us. Obviously, when we played them away at Turf Moor, it was a difficult game. Had a lot of chances, couldn't score, and then sort of scored a few towards the end. So I think it's going to be a similar game when it comes to that for us.
Yeah. I don't see it, but Anfield against Burnley, I'll see us just annihilating them. It
Well,
might,
people have to
it might
come
come
back
back
then
and
and
bite me
find
in the
out.
arse, but we'll see.
People have to come back and find out whose predictions were right, whether it was a conservative or whether it was a bargain. And we'll have to see whether Liverpool bounce back well and true. As always, thank you everyone for joining us this week on the Aapna Reds podcast. Don't cry too much in our absence because Klopp isn't here for much longer. So just enjoy the journey, is all we can say. And we'll see you next time on the Aapna Reds podcast.